GOAT, the Undertaker, the best player in all of CS, is deserving titles for s1mple. He's on a completely different level to all players within the scene, and the stats back him up. And playing a map like Nuke allows him to be versatile and everywhere, defining the role an AWP should be like. Hey, I'm s1mple, and today I want to look at s1mple and how he plays the Rotator on the CT side of Nuke, so let's begin. I'm not going to go fully in depth about the Nuke rotations and what everyone should do, as I already covered it in this Nico video, and MSL made an entire video on the subject himself. But a few notes for the Rotator: you are free to run the entire map as you're not locked into a position unlike ramp or A. However, if a player needs to go down lower, you'll be moving to A to help hold the bomb site, or you will hold outside if someone has already rotated A. And you're doing this because you must have 2 people holding that A bomb site, or else it's pretty much impossible to hold it. And you'll also rotate to different parts of the map depending if anyone is in trouble. You may rotate if you have information, or you might just rotate if you have a good read. Okay, I'll shut up now and show you the gameplay. Now let me begin with some starting utility. Typically when you're going outside, there will be either a glaive smoke or a molotov towards electronic. In this round, s1mple is going to be doing the glaive smoke by aiming towards here and left click throwing. In this round, the smoke does leave a bit of a gap, but the benefit is that you can have a player hiding behind it, allowing you to use it as a wall. And this smoke should be able to counter all but the standard smokes, due to the pathing you need to take. But because there's a gap in the smoke, s1mple is just going to watch it with his AUG. In this round, s1mple is going to throw the exact same smoke, except this time a bit closer, and he's going to use it to cross. While s1mple is running, he's also going to be running with his knife out, where he could be exposed to silo. Likely he's running with his knife out just because he knows the T's can't get there before he can get towards red. But once he gets across, he's going to post up on this angle. Now this angle can be pretty nasty, as you may not even expect s1mple to be up this close. And this setup is also going to be pretty good, as electronic will be baiting for a little bit, and s1mple will check his silo from time to time. But when s1mple gets presence, he unfortunately misses the shot. He'll try to fall back to main, just before he hits a nice shot onto config. Now in this round, s1mple is going to be doing the electronic molly. He will do this by running next to this wall, leaving a small gap between main and credit, running and left click throw. And this molly will prevent the T's from pushing out without a smoke. Now in this round, electronic is going to drop his molotov. s1mple will do the electronic molly again, but with the second molotov, he will try to use it to try and counter the T's outside smokes. This could be a bit of a gamble, but if you have the right timing, throwing this molly could leave a huge gap in the T's smoke, allowing you to gather information and get kills and damage. Now that you may have or may have not thrown your util outside, let me show you how s1mple positions himself. In this round, he's going to go to the back of credit and spot towards silo. If he wanted to, he could also use the ledge to gain a bit of a height advantage, but he should be able to pick off the T's at a long range. And this angle is pretty good with an AWP. But with the setup they're currently in, s1mple is going to be watching the right side, while electronic is towards red and hiding behind the glaive smoke. And this just prevents the T's from being able to swarm outside and find the tough holes to creep through. But after a while, s1mple is going to rotate towards heaven. The most common angle you'll see out of any AWPer is this one right here, looking towards electronic. In this round, the smoke that they threw does leave a bit of a gap, but s1mple is going to try and abuse that to look through it and find any potential openings. After a while, he'll check towards silo, before they know it's an execute, and he will come towards main. And in this round, we're going to see a similar angle used. He's going to post himself up, he'll get flashed off, so it'll just fall off a little bit, before eventually re-peeking out. And you can see when the smokes are coming in, he's going to keep his crosshair in the same place, just so he knows where the opening is, and he can try to abuse the smokes to look for feet. But from here, he's going to check towards silo, almost catch his config, but will go towards heaven. Now if you're playing towards garage, you can also do the sweeping clear. I'll put it in slow motion, but s1mple is going to slowly move across the angle, with his crosshair in the middle of the box, just so he's ready to flick. He does spot glaive jump peeking, so he'll be ready just in case he jump peeks again. But from here, he will check his angles and then rotate towards heaven. Now maybe you don't want to play towards garage. Well, you could play an angle like this towards the blue box. In this round, s1mple is going to be holding the angle, meaning the T's won't be able to cross towards secret or lurk their way outside. But it is worth noting they could lurk their way into main if they are very tightly hugging the wall. If they are like a few inches away from the wall, then the shadow will show and s1mple can call it out. But later he will transition to this angle, which in my opinion is just a nasty off angle, as at times the T's will be trying to pre-fire the main angle. But soon Ash are also going to throw the outside smokes, so s1mple is going to support his teammate by throwing flashbangs, allowing Electronic to get a quick peek before positioning himself and getting a nice 2k. But after the flashes, s1mple's transitioned himself towards the main angle, where he's watching for the smokes to fade. At this point Ash are in a very tight spot, as the smokes are fading and s1mple's watching it, and if they try to cross towards secret, they should just die from Electronic. So Ash are going to lose 2 players and not have outside control, with 30 seconds left on the clock. Now of course we do have the typical peek from Credit, where you can go behind it and watch for anyone trying to cross towards red. But once s1mple doesn't see anything, he's going to go for a quick jump peek above Credit to see if he can spot anyone's silo. He spots one of the T's smoke, so it's possible he knows that smoke missed and there's a gap in their smoke wall, which there is, and he will later abuse. And even though he doesn't get anything, this is really good, as Ash just wasted 3 smokes with little outside presence, and s1mple can confirm there's no one outside, allowing the players to stay towards A. Now the downside of playing towards Credit is that it can commonly be smoked off, like in round 10 where s1mple will try to go for a peek after flashing, and unfortunately he just gets smoked off, so he'll just throw a HE and peek towards main. And speaking of main, this is an opening s1mple likes to attempt. In this round the T's blew off the door and a Molotov is going to come in. Knowing the risks, he's going to peek into the Molotov and look towards lobby, where his crosshair is only a few inches away from Glaive, but he will miss the shot and fall off, only losing 25 HP. But honestly, losing 30 HP to get an man advantage is totally worth it. Now lastly, there's been a few occasions when s1mple will go towards secret. In this round, he's going to try peek towards secret and look towards silo, but unfortunately he gets Molotov'd and he will fall off. However, my guess is that if he didn't get Molotov'd off, he will check towards silo before having a quick peek towards red with his AWP. Now I would say s1mple's most common position to play is around heaven, and this is because he can help so many different positions out by just one spot. He can help A, outside and ramp. But in this section I'm just going to look at how s1mple can help towards A. In this round s1mple will come up heaven and he will use this lineup to throw a HE onto Squeaky, and this is likely just to counter a rush or a vent dive. But with this, he'll also combine this with a smoke to block out Squeaky. And this smoke can really help the A guys out, as it means they have an extra one for later in the round. Now in this round we're going to see s1mple use a very similar utility. He'll come up heaven, smoke off Squeaky, then put his HE towards the vents like this. He's not going to throw it in this round, but likely if s1mple saw any signs of a potential A rush or a vent dive, he would then throw it. Now it's also worth noting s1mple may come up towards heaven during the mid round to smoke off the A guy's Squeaky, and again this helps him quite a bit. Now the last thing s1mple may do to help out A is just by sticking around. In this round s1mple threw his util and he's just going to stick around the rafters looking towards hut. And because you're an A rotator, you're not required to be in a position to hold that area, meaning it's fine for s1mple to go towards outside one time then A the next. And by holding a deep angle like this with an AWP, could be pretty effective in getting an early kill. But if he took a shot, it would probably be very difficult for him to get back into it, due to how fast the plays are from an execute. Now let's say in the scenario you're playing towards heaven, and the T's do some outside smokes. How do you deal with it? Well, let s1mple show you the way. In this round Ash did the standard smokes, and s1mple gets wind of it. As a reaction he will use the generator as cover, and spray right through the smokes, potentially trying to slow down the push. And by doing this, not only are you taking the chance of getting a kill or dealing damage, but if you do get a tag, it should slow them down, allowing a rotate player to go down towards B and hold tunnels. But from here, s1mple will play around heaven. In round 11, Ash are going to throw the outside smokes, and as a reaction, s1mple will get on top of the railings and try to look over the smokes to get a potential kill. Fortunately, due to the smokes that Ash threw, it does allow s1mple to have a bit of visibility, but he won't be able to see anything if they're playing close towards the smoke. And luckily in this round, Electronic was playing towards secret, so s1mple will just flash for his teammate to allow him to get the information. But from here up, s1mple will just drop down, try to look underneath the smokes and use the shadows to his advantage, and will play around heaven, spotting for outside. If you're playing towards heaven, how should you play that position if they have outside control? While in this round Simple's playing towards lockers and the T's did the standard smoke wall, allowing him to get down secret. Now if Simple was holding this angle the entire time, he could have just stuck to holding it, as they couldn't go towards garage and they couldn't flank outside, as Simple is playing this one spot that denies all of it. But prior to this he did leave a little gap, so he's probably just a bit cautious. Someone could have gone towards garage, so you'll see him do a few checks. But when he doesn't spot anything towards outside, he's going to leave outside temporarily, just so he can go towards heaven and help the A guys out. But after smoking A, he will come back towards outside and hold the angle. In round 11, Simple's playing towards A, and he's going to check outside via heaven. You can see when he peeks out, he's just going to pre-aim towards secret, as that's a common place where T's will be going. But once he doesn't spot anything outside, he'll go back towards A for a little bit, before transitioning back towards outside and doing a few jiggles. And these jiggles are really important, as it's very difficult to hold the entirety of outside from this one position. So being a bit flexible, checking your different angles, playing different spots is the best way to play around heaven. But in this round, Simple wants a bit more information, so he's going to peek out a little bit with his AWP, and when he doesn't spot anything, he'll go towards ramp. And in round 10, we're going to see something similar. Simple is going to come towards lockers, and he's going to watch the smokes fade, while flicking behind the blue box, again just to make sure they don't look past him. He'll transition himself towards door, so he can spot towards garage. But with this done, he looks like he's just going to fall back towards hell at 30 seconds, and play between both A and ramp. But with his patience, he gets some information that IT just entered locker due to the windows breaking. So Simple's going to stick around, really draw him out, so they have to work for it and use a lot of time. And well, it goes pretty well. Simple will get the first kill into config. Zipex almost makes the mistake of not instantly trading him, but Simple will die with 10 seconds left on the clock. Now just a quick thing, if you don't always want to be jiggling outside, you could play a position like this towards orange, where you can deny the T's from lurking outside or into main. Or alternatively, you can play towards garage and have a potential crossfire on main, but it does mean you're not as versatile, and you could be very easily smoked off. Now as I mentioned at the start of this video, it's important that you have at least 2 players on their A bomb site. So when one of your A players either rotate or dies, it's likely going to be you who needs to come over. In this round, Perfecto is going to die to config, and he will get traded. But as there's only one player on the A bomb site, Simple will need to drop down. Or he could also play heaven if he wanted to. And dropping down into the site just allows you to anchor it, instead of playing from heaven and likely being flashed off. But with his weapon of choice, he's just going to be looking deep towards hut, ready for any T's to potentially swing. But now there's no one holding outside because that's where Simple was holding, but he had to rotate towards A, they could go through heaven and main. So you're going to see Simple jiggle between 3 different angles, not really being in a good position. So later on, both SDY and Simple will push through hut and gain lobby control, regaining space the T's took away from them. Now in this round, Perfecto is the only A player, so Simple will drop down, and he gets there just in the nick of time. As soon as he gets down, a shot is going to execute, he will get the first initial kill, and he's just going to reposition to an angle like this, where he should be able to catch more T's swinging out of hut. And if you notice, Electronic is on main trying to help hold Simple's cross, making it a lot difficult for Astralis to get the trade. But once the execute's over, he's just going to post himself on hut, checking both the left and right sides for any potential lurkers. Now let's take a wander and look how you can defend ramp. From this round, it looks like Perfecto from the top of rafters is going to hear Astralis and lobby. As a response to this, Simple is going to rotate towards hell. He'll be very cautious as he peeks the corner with his crosshair placement, where he will eventually get contact onto the Astralis members. Now it's really good that Simple got the initial kill, instead of letting Glaive wiggle his way out or getting the kill onto him. As now Simple got the kill onto Glaive, Simple can try to lock down ramp, while Bit kills any stragglers and later helps Simple. And from here they're just going to slaughter the rest of Astralis. However, if the T's do have rifles and maybe you have an AWP, it can be dangerous to re-peek into the angle, due to how much of an easy angle it is to hold. And round 20 against NIP shows it perfectly. In this round, it's going to be pretty clear that the T's are going to go towards ramp. Bit will get the initial contact, Simple's going to swing out, get the kill onto Brolan, who's trying to trade his teammate, and at this point I would highly recommend you to fall off. As you can see, Bit's already dropped down, and Simple is about to dry peek an angle where he has no utility and the T's are holding him. However, I'll make an exception because it's Simple and you could just one-tap them both. Now in this round, Simple's going to rotate from B towards outside. he's going to go up ramp and he's going to scope in like this. Now that he's coming towards ramp where the enemies could be, it's important that he stays vigilant instead of just sleeping on the possible threats. So he's just going to scope in for a little bit, transition towards an angle that Bit likes to play, and once he doesn't see any threats, he's going to rotate outside to make sure they don't lurk towards heaven. Now, as I alluded to at the start of the video, s1mple will be constantly rotating. The most common rotations he will do is where he will show his hand in one area of the map, where he will later show his other hand and appear on the other side of the map. And these types of constant rotations from s1mple makes it super hard for Charles to predict it, as if they were trying to avoid the AWP, it's pretty much just a coin flip, as their information will just be useless. So for one round for example, he will take a shot on main and later peek out a secret. Now let me show you some of his other rotations and why he's made it. In this round, s1mple's playing towards main, and the outside smokes are going to come in from Astralis. Since neither s1mple or Electronic are the closest players to rotate down, Bit will take that job and go down B, where s1mple will come hell and cover ramp. Another reason he might rotate is just because of a read. In this round there's nothing towards outside, where he will later get the information from Perfector and go ramp. Again, another read we can see from s1mple is in round 11. He's going to be looking towards outside and Astralis are not going to do anything. So due to this, s1mple is just going to rotate ramp, thinking Astralis might go there, but he's just going to flick between both outside and ramp. After watching s1mple's demos, I've noticed he's versatile. s1mple is consistently moving around the map, making it difficult for the T side to pinpoint on where he's playing. He's reactive. To have an impact in a round, you can't just sit there and take your time, or else you'll miss your window to activate. And lastly, he's aware. As we saw quite a bit, s1mple will constantly jiggle and do checks around the map to reduce the number of gaps in their defense. Apart from that, I hope you enjoyed the video. Maybe you want to have a cool way of getting an opening kill on the T side of Overpass. Well, I made a video breaking down Vitality's triple nade on Toxic. You can check that out in the description. Apart from that, thanks for watching, see you in a bit.